Hello, and welcome to my Pre-Algebra review series. This video covers Chapter 8, Section 4, entitled Writing Rules for Linear Equations. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of the rules for writing linear equations from words and writing rules from tables and graphs. Please leave a like if you find this video to be helpful. Give your classmates a heads up too. It will more than likely help them, and it'll certainly help this channel to be seen by more students. If you'd like me to cover any of these topics in greater detail, please leave a comment here in the comment section below. I read them and do my best to address each as time permits. Please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon to be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you. Let's write some rules. Okay, Objective 1, writing rules from words. You can write a function using what we call function notation, in which you use the f of x right here. We call this little symbol right here instead of y. You read this symbol right here, f parenthesis x close parenthesis, as f of x. You can think of a domain value as the input to the resulting range value, as we can see here. So if you take the range value, f of x, and take the domain, which is the x, you can place it in the symbol f of x, meaning that you're taking the function of the domain of x. A function rule is an equation that describes a function. A function rule for y equals 3x plus 7, y is the function output, right? Y is the function output, and x is the input. X is the function input. The function rule, f of x, this function of x, where is equal to 3x plus 7. F of x is the function output, and x is the input. Okay, example 1. This is a real-world problem. Paulo works at a local store. Each week he earns $300 salary, plus 3% commission on his sales. It says, write a function rule that relates total earnings to sales. Okay, so that function rule, we're going to let S equal sales. Right here, S is going to equal sales. And we're going to let F of S equal the total sales, which includes salary, and 3% of the sales, 0.03, 3%. So, as we said, f of s, the function of the domain s, right here, is equal to 0.03 of the sales plus $300 salary. There's the function rule. So find Paulo's earnings for 1 week if his sales are $2,500. Let T equal total earnings. So we've written the function. T of S, T of the domain S, is equal to 0.03 S plus 300. That's this equation over here. We just wrote that. So now let's substitute in our given domain value. T, total earnings of $2,500, is equal to 0.03 times the $2,500 plus $300. And what are we doing? We've replaced the S in our function rule with the $2,500 domain value. And now we have T of $2,500 is equal to $75 plus $300. Okay, because 3% of $2,500 is $75. Right here, $75. $300 is the salary. And when we're done with this, we're going to have T of $2,500 is $375. Because we've added these two, the 75 and the 300. Paulo earns $375 with when his sales are $2,500. Okay, so here, example 1, check your understanding. We're going to solve this. It's a kind of a real-world problem. So, scrumptious snack mix is sold by mail order. It costs $3 a pound plus $4 shipping and handling. Write a function rule for the total cost C of P. The cost, okay, that's for and the pounds purchased P based on the number of pounds P bought. Use your function to find the total cost of 5 pounds of snack mix. So our function, as we've written it here, then C of P, the cost of the pounds of snack mix is equal to 3P, 3 as is based here, $3 per pound, right here, $3 per pound, times the number of pounds plus $4 for shipping and handling. That's our function rule. So now that we've written that, we see that C of P is equal to 3P plus 4. We have the equation. Now we're going to substitute in our domain value, 5, into the function rule. So the cost of 5 pounds, the cost C of 5 pounds is equal to 3 times the number of pounds, which is 5, plus 4. Substitute 5 for every place there's a P. So here's the 5, one of the 5s, and here's a 5, where the P's are, right here, P's, there and there. So the cost of 5 pounds is equal to 15 plus 4. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4, we did some multiplication here, 3 times 50. So the cost of 5 pounds, C of $5, is equal to 19. 5 pounds of mix shipped cost $19. Okay, for objective 2, write rules from tables and graphs. To write a function rule from a table, we need to look for a pattern to form the linear function rule f of x equals mx plus b. So remember the slope m, right here, the slope m, right here, m, is now it's a little different than the last way we learned it, but it means the same thing. M is the difference in the f of x values. Remember, f of x kind of means y. The difference in the y values divided by the difference in the x values. And our b is the value of f of x when x is 0. So you could say f of 0 is our b value, or the y-intercept. Right here, f of x is our b value. So use these steps to write your function rule. First, find the y-intercept. Find the y-intercept. To find the point on your table or graph where the x-axis value is 0. Associated with that, x-axis being 0, will be a y point where the line crosses the y-axis. And that point is your b value. The y-axis point when x is 0 is your b value, our y-intercept. Number 2, identify another point in the table or on the graph. Try to find an easy-to-determine point from the table or the graph. Like x and y are integers. If you can find a spot somewhere where you had a 0 for your x and a 3 for y, let's say, and somewhere else on the table you have x equals 5 and y equals 9, you could use those values. If they're integers and they're obviously on the graph and an even easy-to-find position. Okay, but any point will work. Any point will work. But it's good to find easy-to-find and understand points. They're easy to draw lines and stuff to them. Calculate the slope. The slope m is the rise over the run. Remember, rise, the change in y, or change in f of x, over the run, change in x. Between the 2 points, m is the ending point. The y sub 1 point is your ending point, and minus your y-intercept. That's your start point. So y sub 1, the ending point right here, minus the starting point, the y-intercept. And that's over the x sub 1, the x ending point, and 0, the value that x was when you found the y-intercept. Write the function rule. Substitute your values for m and b into the equation. F of x, the function of x, is equal to the slope times x, mx, plus the y-intercept, the b. Okay, example 2. Write a function rule from a table. So we have a table here. Has your x value and your f of x value in columns. And there's 4 points. So the first step says identify your y-intercept. Well, how do we do that? When the x is 0, x value is 0, the associated y value is the y-intercept. In this case, the value from the chart is going to be 7. When x is 0, right here, this is your y-intercept. So our y-intercept in this table is 1. Step 2, identify another point, or any other point will work because you're working from a table for sure. It's all integers as we see here. Pick another set of integers. Okay, so we can pick this 2 and 7 or minus 2 and minus 5. In the problem here, we picked 2 and 7. So let's do what they picked here in the table. 2 is the x value, and the f of x value is 7. So calculate the slope using the y value from the point you just selected as y sub 1, that's the end point, minus the y value associated with the x equals 0 point. And divide the x values just selected, divide by the x values just selected, x sub 1 minus 0. This value was selected to be 0 from the chart, right? Remember that. So we're going to substitute now 7 and 2. The 7 for the f of x and 2 for the x value. So in our formula, the slope m is equal to the y ending value, which is 7. Right here, the y ending value is 7. And the y-intercept was what? Was 1. So it's y1 minus y-intercept, which is the m over, let's do over the x ending point. And the x ending point was 2, because we selected this line, is 2, and the starting point was 0. So we have m is equal to 7 minus 1, 7 ending point, 1 starting point. Here, right, starting point, ending point. Right here, 7 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 0. 2, the ending point, 0, the starting point. And when you do that, you get 6. 7 minus 1 is 6, and 2 minus 0 is 2, and 6 over 2 is 3. So our slope is 3. Writing the function rule, f of x, f of the domain value x is equal to 3 times the x value, the x domain value, plus 7. Okay, example 2, check your understanding. Write a rule for each linear function. So they gave us, we have 3 problems, 3 tables, and we're just going to quickly here go through it and figure out what values to use and then create the function rule. So remember that for A, m is equal to the y ending point minus the y ending point minus the y starting point divided by the x ending point minus the x starting point. Okay? So we're going to pick what's the rule we want to pick for the y-intercept to get the b value. It's find x to be 0. And when x is 0, y is 0. So guess what? We're not going to have to add a b value because b is 0 at this point. We could write plus 0, but we're not going to have to. So pick any other point. In this case, we picked the next one down. I can see it in the equation here. There's a 2 and a 1 we picked. So we picked this one here where x is 1 and y is 2. And we calculate it. So the y ending point, 2, minus the y starting point, which is 0, divided by the x ending point, 1, right here, x ending point, minus the x starting point, which was 0 right here. And that answer is 2 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0 is 2. So our function rule, f of x, is equal to 2x. Let's do the other one. M is equal to y ending minus y starting divided by x ending minus minus x starting. So again, we're going to pick where x is 0, and we're going to pick, here they're both zeros. Interesting, it's the same as the other one. And then the difference here is we're going to pick a negative 6. We're going to pick the x value 3 and have a f of x value of negative 6. So now we're going to get the y ending point is negative 6 minus the y starting point is 0 over the x ending point, the 3, minus the x starting point, which was 0. And when you do this, now you're going to get negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So f of x is equal to negative 2. Let's try the next one. M, our ending point, ending y point, minus our starting y point, ending y point minus starting y point, over the x ending minus the x starting. So we're going to pick here the 0 down here. Here's our starting point. The starting point is where x is 0 because y is going to be, our f of x will be 1 at this point. And we're going to pick any other point, and the points chosen here are the ones right above it. The minus 2 for x and the minus 3 for f of x. So we're going to have m is equal to y ending minus 3, right here, minus 3, the y ending point, minus 1, the 1 is the y starting point, divided by minus 2, which is the x ending point, minus 0, the x starting point, right here, equals 2. Our function rule, f of x equals 2x plus 1. Okay, in this example, example 3, we're going to write a function rule from a graph. You can use the slope-intercept form, f of x equals mx plus b, or you can think of it still as y equals mx plus b. But we'll use f of x equals mx plus b. When you write your function rule from the graph, writing a rule from a graph is kind of easy. You have to pick points, and you have to kind of visually inspect the graph to pick the easy points. So it says pick 2 points. One should include the x value of 0, and start there. That's where we'll start. And I will choose 0 and 2. X value 0, y value is 2. And where is that on the graph? Right here is our x, y, and this is the intersection of the x. Here's x going along here, and here's y coming down here. So this is the 0 point. And as you see up here, the line touches the y-axis right at 2. When x is 0, y is 2. So we're going to pick that one right here. I choose x 0, y 2 as my start point. That's the starting point. And 6, 0 as the ending point, because guess what? Look at that. The y value is 0. So now we just have a single x value to deal with where y is now 0. Easy to find on the graph. When x is 6, y is 0. You see, y is 0 when here's 0 right here. Y is 0 when x is 6. So we have our points. The y-intercept, we selected the point. 0, and 2 as the start point. Find the slope by m equals y ending point minus y starting point divided by x ending point minus 0 in this particular case. Otherwise, it would be x starting point. But we can always find, we have been finding the y value when x is 0, so it's convenient when writing the formula. So m is equal to y ending, we picked this value down here, the y ending point is, the y is 0, so y right here, y is 0, so we have 0 minus 2, the starting point is y minus 0 minus the starting point, 2, divided by the x ending point. It ends over here at the 6, right over here. It ends over here at 6, minus where it started was way down here at 0. And when you do that, you're going to get minus 2 divided by 6, which is minus 2 over 6, which can be reduced down to minus 1/3. So writing in slope-intercept, and remember, 2 is our when x is equal to 2, x is equal to 0, y is our y-intercept. When x is equal to 0, y is the intercept. So here's the 2 value. So f of x equals minus 1/3 x, because we replaced the m with the minus 1/3 that we calculated right here. Here's our m, and here's our 1/3. So now we're going to replace that, and we have f of x equals minus 1/3 x plus 2. Okay, for example 3, let's check your understanding. We'll do this once again. I've kept everything simple so that the mathematics is nice and it's easy to see. So it says write a rule for the following graph. Pick 2 points. Well, I did. I picked point 0, 2. That will be our starting point because x is 0 at this point, right? X is 0. And I picked point 2, 0. So x is 2 and y is 0 at this point here. And you can see this pretty easily on the graph. So find the y-intercept. Select the point where the x-intercept, or the x value, equals 0. Well, that is right here is where the x value is 0. That's 2 right here, 2 right there. Okay, and now we're going to find the slope. Okay, so now we found the b value. We found the b value because we picked the point where x is 0. We just look at b, and that's I look at y, and that's our b value in the equation. And now we're going to do the math to determine the slope. And the math says take the y ending point. The y ending point is down here. I can look at the points right here. Y ending, this is our ending value, and here's our starting value, S, N, okay, E. So our ending value for y is 0, so 0 minus 2, our starting value for y, minus 2, over our ending value for x. The ending value for x is 2, minus our starting value for x, which is 0. And when we calculate it, we get minus 2 divided by 2, which is minus 2 over 2, which is minus 1. So y equals minus 1 x plus 2. We got this intercept value for the b from our first thing we did by picking our x equals 0. So up here, our 2 right here, that's our y-intercept. And if we calculate this out, we don't need to carry the minus 1 down because 1 is understood. So the true answer here, the final result, is f of x is equal to minus x plus 2.